Hello, YouTube. Today, we have the pleasure of watching Ronuki in the DBV-152, the assembly shop tank that's now been sold twice, play on a match on Prokhorovka. Now, I ask you to bear with me on this replay. Starts off a little slow, and as you know how Prokhorovka games go, they can be slow. But I promise you, the ending of this one is worth it. It's worth it. We got pretty normal positions. Manticore is going to go up the bush line. Tessic is going to go up the bush line. Looks like they're both going to contest for spotting damage. Unfortunately, both Ronuki and the Leo X want the same bush, which only works out to none of them getting the bush. At least she snapped that majestic shot on the Leo X. That actually probably wouldn't have penned had it hit the mantlet, but that was an incredibly lucky shot. That was great. So we got normal things going on in this game. We got the Manticore in the safe bush, relatively high. The Tessic took the bowl because he felt he probably couldn't contest with the Manticore. I feel I kind of agree with Ronuki's decision there. To not take that shot. That would have been a risky shot, not fully aimed in. I mean, you miss every shot you don't take, but some are just not worth. I'm constantly checking the map like I'm playing this game. It's gonna be a little bit of a slog, but we're gonna get there. It really heats up towards the end. Traditional positioning. The Manticore is no longer on this side. So right here, right. So you're in a Manticore, right? And you see that the enemy Manticore is on the other side. That's when you really start to get aggressive, especially if the Tessic's that far up on the map down here in this position here. Obviously, he would be proxy spotting anything. So in my opinion, this Manticore should dip, get out, and start to crawl up the bush line. Let's see what plays out. Oh, look at that. He did that. He did exactly that. Not a lot going on in this game. Lucky miss of a blind shot. It's a pretty common position to sit up there, so pretty normal for people to try and blind shot it. Everybody is familiar with this exact scenario. The lights aren't quite lighting. Ronuki's getting a little impatient here, taking an aggressive position. But with the DBV's camo, it can do it. I tell ya. It's got near the camo of the Manticore. It is an insanely camouflaged tank. And if you've seen it or played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. How close you have to get to light this thing. Manticore's pretty far up, but I think he's not moving any further because he's worried about the Object 257 potentially proxy spotting him, which is a good play if both of the lights, and which both of the lights were spotted on the enemy team, both the Manticore in the town and the Tessic was on top of the hill. This is like a wet dream for light tank players. They want free Prokhorovka games. But he's just worried about that aggressively pushed up 257, which if the Manticore played kind of conservatively and take the outside bush, he could still spot this and not get proxied. He could get pretty close to that 257 and not get lit. But here we are, just biding our time. Not looking too good on the 7890 line. Just two tanks holding that flank and whatever's going to get shots from the middle. Tessic starts to be aggressive. DBV gets lit. Never really a shot. Unfortunate it didn't go a little higher. That could have been a lucky connect. So the DBV, really high alpha. It's got pretty good pen, but insane camo value. And you're going to see that to full effect in this game. Yeah, Ronuki's really trying to make that, like, connect that shot, but the ridge line is just too high. Another thing worth pointing out, actually, if you're in a light tank and I'm looking at my monitor, but really I'm talking to y'all. If you're in a light tank and you see an E4 immediately behind you, that's not where you want to be. It is a straight dick move to sit behind your light tank in a tank with such poor camo like the E4. Granted, the Mana Core could be a little more aggressive here for sure. Definitely a dick move to sit behind them in a giant TD. Even worse if it's a Jagdpanzer 100 or a Maus or a Type 5 and you sit right behind your light tank in the same bush line and then they get exploded because you're lit because you have no camo. Anyway, carry on. So we're nearly 5 minutes in. Ronuki's team is looking in pretty rough shape at almost 5,000 HP down. They lost the whole 7 through 0 line. The lights swept it. Mana Core on their team is still not pushing to the effect that he should be and lighting the forest down there. Ronuki has gone back to take a defensive position, which is a great call because if those lights get out of the other side of the train and start to play for free on the other side, that would be really, really, really rough for their team. They're going to start to lose their heavies very quickly if that happens. And as normal, see, the Tessic didn't actually get lit getting into that bowl. That bowl is a little safe spot from the tanks in the A1, A2, B1, B2 area. But now you can see that they're peeking the rails, they're peeking the back rails, the front rails, and then they're going to peek the hillside. And it's very difficult to stay defensive and keep your HP in this position for where these heavies are in the bowl. Thankfully, they're not one ridge over, or else they'd be getting farmed even quicker. Just no shots presenting themselves. This team is playing incredibly passive while still being somehow more aggressive than Ronuki's team. And Ronuki's team is just bleeding for it. They just have all of the map control right now. Heavies are peeking the rails safely. There's just no shots to really be had. Leo X dumps in to get spots. And pressure the heavies even more. That Leo X took a really aggressive position for that tank. But really not safe position for him. That could have been blind shotable, but I think she was looking for a more dead set shot. As it goes, we are now nearly 7 minutes into a Prokhorovka game. Ronuki's team is down 3,000 HP, so they brought it back a bit. Unlucky bounce. You probably hit the upper plate just by a smidge. That is incredibly unlucky. That was very, very close to the lower plate, and he wasn't even moving. That should have been free. Gaining a little bit of that HP back and losing it just as quick. They lost their Tessic to the C95. Mana Core still down there, spotting for nobody. The G-Sor is going down to try and help. We have an Ashigaru up on the hill. An AE that is alone, dead in the water. And at this point, we are halfway through the timer on this game. And Ronuki is at 699 damage. I promise, we're getting there. It's about to ramp up pretty quick. Really, really great time shot on the roof of the contender. Shy of hitting an extremely weird angle. That's a pretty much guaranteed pen. Super, super great to get him out of the game. And at this point, that's really what Ronuki needs to do, is she needs to start taking tanks out of the game. Leo X is up on the ridgeline. Oh, that skipped over the gun barrel. What an unfortunate shot. So we are down. We are down to 4 versus what? Fucking, I can't math this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 versus 8. 4 versus 8 right now. With 7 minutes left on the clock. Now 3 versus 8. With an Artie. So it's the Mana Core, Ronuki, in the DBV, and the Artie. Really, really great pen on the 60 TP, getting that damage out there. Unfortunately, she didn't high roll it. That would have been a really, really great high roll to take that tank out of the game. So Ronuki's not getting lit with these shots. which is very important. And right now, she knows that the biggest threat to her is vision. So she's got to get that Tessic out. That is the biggest threat. And honestly, I think the Artie makes a really great play, even if unintentionally, toward the artillery sacrifices. I mean, you'll see, right? Artillery fires. Tessic feels like he's gonna be safe. Gets lit. Yeah, worth it. Worth it. Getting those light tanks out of the game at this point is huge. Now we just have target saturation of low health tanks. Leo X taken out of the game. Ronuki did not get lit for that, despite that G-Sword being that close. But now, once again, we're in the same predicament where Ronuki needs to battle against Vision. Oh, the G-Sword takes out the Artie, but Ronuki gets to take out the shot on him. And this is turning into a really great game for her. She's picked up 4 kills and 3,000 damage in the last, like, minute and a half. Or sorry, 2,500 damage. She has 600 right off the rip. In the last, like, minute and a half. This is turning into a game. Really great overmatch on the roof of the Blocative. Taking another tank out, bringing your kills up to 5. Full life T95 is coming down the red line, or down the 2 line though. Oh, HE, really, really great stuff to see. Alright, so when you get a tank that's rushing at you, even if it's a heavy tank, and you have a pretty high alpha, and it's low HP, like 60 to 100 HP, perfectly viable to shoot HE if you don't think you can get an angle to get a penetrating shot. You're actually still really likely to pen, even with the current HE mechanics. The previous HE mechanics, it was a no-brainer. Tanks would just shoot HE all the time at low health tanks, but now sometimes you can hit some weird spots and not do damage, but Ronuki was pretty confident in her ability. It looked like she hit the top of the turret, which is perfect. There, the armor is thin. Now we have a full life T95 screaming down that 2 line, and the Renault Tirante is still over there. Makes himself known, which is good and bad. At least now Ronuki knows that she's a little bit safe from that Renault Tirante where she is. Great pen. Really, really lucky break. Oh, he really outplayed the T95 with that break and forced him to shoot that tracks. That is huge. Huge for the sake of this game. Ronuki out-reloads the T95, taking him out of the game. And now we are back all the way from a near 7v3, 8v3, all the way down to a flat 2v2. With Ronuki now on 7 kills, 4,700 damage, a 1,700 HP Renault Tirante. But Ronuki does get lit there. And I think it's because of the gap in the bush. But with the mana core to be able to run diversion, Ronuki's really, really good camo value. She's able to go up this bush line quicker than the Renault Tirante and stay out of vision to be ready for another shot. Unfortunately, that when the heat here end hit the track, probably absorbed a majority of the pen. Was just an unlucky way for that to go. But that bought her time. This Renault Tirante is trying and screaming down this line, but not enough. It's just the camo value is insane on the DBV, and she didn't even get lit for that. She did not get lit for that shot. She didn't get lit for that shot. That's crazy, man. This is why people love this tank. And that's it, man. That's a wrap. All that's left is the Batchat Artie drowns himself. The icing on the cake. Unfortunately, robbing Ronuki of the 9th kill, but she still got a Radley Walters. This is an incredible game. 6,000 damage. I didn't quite see the timer at the end there, but 6,000 damage, 500 spotting in a Prokhorovka game that started really, really, really rough. And I know everybody's had these games like this. You can't count yourself out from a really great performing game just because your team is biting it around you. So really, really, you want to stick in there, and this game is a perfect showcase of that. I really appreciate Ronuki sending me this replay. I will leave her Twitch info down below. She's an exceptional player on the EU. And generally a joy to watch her streams. So definitely go leave her a follow. And Oh, if you want to see your replay, actually, if you want to see your replay in the World of Tanks replay showcase that I'm doing here, or the Oscars replay showcase, feel free to join the Discord. Send it to me. I always watch through the games. Happy to see more new people send me great games like these. And yeah, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can see more great games like this. And see you guys on the next one.